life and followed that dream from Poland to the United States. Tonight, more than 24 families are fighting to save those dreams. News 12's Greg Sergel says their foe is the U.S. government.
It was the toughest decision of this Polish couple's life. But this past July, Slawek and Anna Bardski agreed to leave family and friends behind in Poland and move here to Warsaw. Slawek's employer, Delta Airlines, was closing its Warsaw office. But when the airline offered to move his job as a flight attendant to New York, the Bardskis accepted, giving up their apartment and most of their belongings to come to America.
We were expecting a baby, so I thought it's a great chance to raise a baby here in America. It's such a great country.
With the baby's birth just days away, that decision to leave Poland is one the Bardskis now regret. The Immigration and Naturalization Service is revoking the Bardskis' visa and is ordering them to leave their Warsaw home and return to Poland early next month. The reason? INS says that visa should never have been issued. It was all a mistake.
I don't know who made a mistake. I'm not in a position to judge. But I felt very unfair and heartless.
That they would tell you to go back now?
Yes.
I was sure we are safe in that country, that nothing's gonna bother us, nothing's gonna threaten us.
That INS mistake threatens 27 other Delta families who also came from Poland. They've hired a lawyer to fight the INS decision, and they've also enlisted the help of New York Senator Al D'Amato. He's written a letter to the INS commissioner calling the whole situation a travesty and asking that the families be allowed to stay.
Our lives are like upside down right now, and it's not a good time for us to feel like that, you know.
Yeah, we don't know what is going to happen now.
The case may ultimately be decided in court. In Warsaw, Greg Sergel, News 12 Long Island.
INS officials did not return our calls for comment. A Hempstead team.
The American dream continues to lure immigrants to our shores, but that dream has become a nightmare for a group of immigrants from Poland who just found out that their work visas are invalid. NJ Burkett is live at Kennedy Airport with their story. NJ.
And Roz, those flight attendants are caught in the middle. Simply put, the Immigration Naturalization Service admits it made a mistake. And tonight, 28 Delta flight attendants and their families have lost their visas and could face deportation.
Slawek Bardski and his wife Anna uprooted their lives and moved to the United States from Poland just this summer. But tonight their visas have been revoked, and Slawek says he doesn't know what to think.
We didn't expect it in such a country like United States, famous for great traditional liberty and democracy.
Slawek worked as a Delta flight attendant based in Warsaw for 5 years. When the airline offered him a transfer to New York, the Bardskis sold everything and settled in Warsaw, Long Island. But just this month, U.S. immigration officials revoked their visas, claiming they had been approved by mistake. The visas they had been granted are known as intercompany transfer visas and are normally reserved for company managers or essential employees with certain specialized knowledge. Tonight, immigration officials said flight attendants don't qualify. Officials said the airline deserves some of the blame.
I think there were mistakes made on both sides. Unfortunately, it's the employees who are suffering the consequences of those mistakes.
It all leaves the Bardskis and 27 other families caught in the middle. Anna Bardski is expecting their first child next month.
I would love to stay in the States. I have 2 more weeks expecting for baby, and we have no choice actually.
Delta denies making any mistakes. The families will be allowed to remain here in this country while the airline appeals. Michael Wilds, an attorney for the families, insists that the flight attendants will win this case. Live tonight at Kennedy Airport, NJ Burkett, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
While they look for a happy ending, some others have found...
Certainly the area have been told they're no longer welcome in the U.S. They were given visas, but now the government says they made a mistake. And as Long Island Bureau Chief Jennifer McLogan shows us, a lot of lives have been tossed into turmoil.
Their baby is due any day now, but Anna and Slawek Bardski don't know where they'll raise their firstborn. The Bardskis and 27 other families who moved to New York from Poland in July were granted 3-year visas to continue to work as multilingual flight attendants for Delta Airlines. But suddenly, everything went wrong.
I have no job now, and even almost no right to be in States. Our visas are revoked, and We have to go back to Poland.
If only I knew that things are going to be like this, I never decided to go to States.
When Delta closed its Warsaw offices, the Bardskis were invited to continue their professional careers in America. They rented out their one-bedroom apartment in Poland, sold their car, furniture, and said goodbye to their native land. Their nightmare began in September when an immigration official noted their visas were actually intra-company transfer visas, which are reserved only for managers or for employees with special company knowledge. The U.S. government then admitted it made an honest mistake with the flight attendants and must now revoke those visas. Delta says it's trying its best to appeal the ruling, so far without success.
How fair is that to people who entered lawfully and were given assurances by not only the Immigration Service and the State Department, but by their company as well?
To expose my baby to such conditions, to such stress, you know, I just don't know what's going to happen with us right now.
The government says the Bardskis now have 13 days to pack and leave the country. From Wantagh, Jennifer McLogan, News 2.
Congressmen have to move back to Poland. It's the result of an apparent mistake in issuing their work visas. Well, joining us this morning are ELZBIETA JAWORSKA, GOSIA MORAWSKA, and their attorney, Michael Wiles. Now, we also want to note we did invite a representative from the INS, but they were unavailable this morning. First of all, Mr. Wiles, let's start with you. Tell us briefly what happened here.
At the outset, I should say that this is turning out to be a diplomatic incident. We've heard from the Polish consul general in New York, and I've spoken personally with Senator D'Amato that's very concerned about the appearance of the Immigration Service in this case.
On what grounds were the families supposed to be moving here in the first place?
They were intra-company transferees. Delta had just closed down their flight attendant and their post in Frankfurt and in Warsaw and tried to place these people in the United States. Ultimately, the visas were issued, allowing them to enter the United States and work in that category legally.
Now, it's interesting to know that you're a former U.S. attorney yourself. You actually have represented the Immigration Department in court in the past. Normally, on what grounds are these types of visas usually issued?
They're issued to people that are either executives, managers, people with specialized knowledge of the internal processes and procedures of a company. These people were very qualified flight attendants. They traveled on inter-European cultural visits. They speak several languages. They're very qualified people, and we're very disappointed how the Immigration Service are treating them.
And we should note that the INS actually admits that they made a mistake in this case, but under the current law, they say that unfortunately a mistake was made, and because of that, the families have to move back. ELZBIETA, what does that mean for you personally?
Actually, all of us, everybody, we are very highly disappointed, very depressed right now. We don't know where we are, what is our position. We feel like in the middle of nowhere. We came here with all good faith to work for company.
Did you give up your home and all that in terms of selling?
Back there. I planned to send for them, for my husband and my daughter, and we made all the plans already. Now we don't know where we are, what we should do next. Many of us from the group, we sold our properties. Some of us, they brought children here. They put them into schools.
What are you going to do now?
We don't know. We feel like, you know, just left by ourselves, that we are the ones who need to suffer all the consequences. And we don't really feel that we deserve it.
Gosha, what about you? What did you leave back home?
I share the same feeling as Ella does. The whole group does share the same feelings. We left our properties in Poland. We came over and we planned our future here for 3 years ahead. Right now, all of a sudden, we have to leave the country within 2 weeks. There are people here in our group who are not prepared for that. They cannot travel there.
They don't have homes back there?
We don't have homes back there.
No jobs?
No jobs.
No benefits.
No insurance benefits, nothing.
We lost
There's
everything
even one person that is expecting a child, a spouse, and
She's
another
9
person
months
that has a handicapped child that really can't get on a plane.
And in this case, what the INS is saying is that these workers don't really qualify under the wording of who should receive these visas, that they don't qualify after all, even though apparently someone made a mistake and did initially approve of them. What are you going to do now?
We have done some research and learned that the Immigration Service has been authorizing people from Japan Airlines the same visa. We are going to take these good people and have a day in court. We hope that the government will work something special out for them because they're going through these undue hardships.
Maybe make an exception in this case, perhaps?
Perhaps. But we do feel that they are qualified and that the law is general enough for them to qualify on the basis that was originally presented.
And you'll be incorporating